Okay, Ryan, come up, talk to the people, tell them you got 15 minutes, tell them why we should come out and support you, which we're going to do anyway, because you're one of us. Here you go, buddy.
Wish me luck. Yeah, so what am I getting myself into, you know? I've been a committeeman for, I'm just going to try to put this over here. Okay. I've been a committeeman since the SAFE Act was passed. A lot of people, Second Amendment advocates, started to get involved with their local GOP. So I looked up Westchester GOP, and I met with Justin. I think some of you know him, my Yonkers chairman. And he's like, okay, here's this clipboard, go out and get signatures, which I'm happy to do. I've been doing that for,
Maybe if I move this.
yeah, hang on, give me a second. Okay, I'm happy to do that, but I'm also not happy with the way the party's been running campaigns. They spend a lot of money printing these beautifully professionally designed brochures with smiling politicians, shaking hands and making promises, and the voters look at it and they throw it in the garbage. So at the end of the day, we're still hoping for our core voters to come out and vote, and I'm watching our core voters just less and less every year. As I'm walking my districts, I'm seeing there's the conservative voters are getting old, they're dying, and they're moving out, and these homes are being replaced by Democrat families. So I'm literally watching an entire population replacement right in front of my eyes. Meanwhile, the Democrats, they have their PR locked up. They really have their game tight. They've got community organizers who are supposedly grassroots, but we know the money's coming from somewhere. And they've got the media. They've got News Channel 12 and FiOS. You know, News Channel 12 is to Astorino what CNN is to Trump. You know, fake news. And I see the way they've cut Astorino off in the middle of saying something to try to make him look bad. Ken Jenkins has announced that he wants to run for county executive. The Democrat Party hasn't decided yet who they're going to pick. The governor wants Astorino out. You know that he wants to prevent Astorino from running for governor. So we can't let that happen, and we can't lose Astorino as county executive. He's doing an excellent job. But Ken Jenkins has already started this slander campaign. He's got multiple social media going on. He's trying to claim that Astorino is a racist. You know, it's completely unfounded. You know, it's facepalm. But the thing is, the liberals run with this, and they go with it like it's gospel. You know, I've seen, I won't get into it at length, but I've seen what the way they do. Basically, Jenkins is he's running on the, I'm sure you know the Saul Alinsky playbook. Okay, so this is what's going on. And the Republican Party wants to take the high road. They want to run a clean campaign. They don't want to play dirty, which is all very nice, but if Donald Trump had done that, we would be saying, Madam President. So, anyway, so that brings us to the lineup. So yes, Ken wants to run for county. I don't know how that works in terms of can he defend his legislator seat while he's running. I don't know that. Justin tells me that Chris Johnson, who is my city councilman, wants to run for that seat. So I may end up having to run against Chris Johnson. Either way, we're looking at entrenched Democrats. They're all heavily connected to Andrea Stewart Cousins. It's going to be a very, very tough road. So my district is in Yonkers. It's a lot of Latino and black Democrats, a lot of people on public assistance. So how is a white Republican cracker going to run a race in this district? You know, I got a tough road ahead of me. So the biggest issue that they have, that most of my district has, is social services. You know, obviously in the county, I have your interests at heart. I would never raise the taxes, but the big issue with a lot of my voters is social services, and they have this fear, which has been put over years and years and years of liberal media portraying Republicans, as these evil white racists who want to take away all the social programs. Well, not only is this not true, but it's really the Democrats, as going back to Lyndon Johnson, who set up this welfare program to keep this cycle of dependency going, which is very, very hard to break out of. And there's people in the black community who know about this. They call it the welfare to prison plantation Democrat system, and they're trying very hard to get people off of it. And it's difficult because the way the system is set up, if someone tries to get a job, even a part-time job, entry-level cashier or something, they lose all their benefits. The same way with a single mom, if the daddy moves back in, she loses her benefits. But instead, if she has more babies, she gets more benefits. So the program is set up to break up families and to incentivize not getting a job. So a lot of people are turning to working, under the table. Now, that might mean day labor, but it also, for a lot of people, means drugs, sex, firearms, and thieving. So we can reverse this program, and I have I don't know if I have time to get into the whole thing, but I have a 4-point welfare reform program that I'd like to see if it can be implemented. The county does have a lot of latitude with this. There's a lot of other things I wish I could do about education, but there's only so much the county can do. First of all, there's a tremendous amount of waste and fraud going on in DSS. I'm told by someone who used to work there, 17% of the money that goes into DSS actually goes to the beneficiaries. The rest of it's all administration. And if you've ever had to go down to Warburton Avenue at DSS, you can see it's a nightmare. You got to go to this window and that window and come back with more paperwork and just get run around with all of this administration. So they're doing something wrong. Now, CVR is a private company that has taken over the Section 8 housing program in White Plains. They are running a very tight ship. They're efficient. They're fast. You get in and out of there quickly. They're doing something right. I'd like to see if something like that can be implemented, to see if there's some way to audit DSS, see what's going on, have some management people go in there and see if it can be restructured. So that would be the first step. The other step is the liberals, as you know, are trying to push to bring in all of these illegal migrants and so-called refugees into our community and then fast-track them onto public assistance. So they're getting in front of the line, in front of the people who already live here who want the assistance. So I would really like to drive that message home to my voters to say, do you really want to vote Democrat? Because they're taking money out of your mouths. And so 2 other points is the big one is what I call a wean-off program. And that's something that, it works like this. If a person gets on the benefit, they get the benefit for a certain amount of time, and then, let's say a year, just for example, and then that's going to roll off, say, 10% every month or something like that after that. So it's a gradual wean-off. Now, if the person gets a job, or if they don't get a job, no difference. If a single mother gets married or doesn't get married, if she has a kid or doesn't have a kid, no difference. They're on that program and it's set for that amount of time. So it would be in their best interest to try to get their life back together and get the family together and get a job, and they can do so without fear of being punished by the program for trying. So there's a bunch of other ideas that I want to throw at this. One would be a work program which the county could hire minimum wage, part-time, something like sorting out recycles or shoveling the snow, voluntarily participation, something where someone could just go in there, get 1 or 2 days worth of work. Some of them have never had a full-time job, and they're not going to just suddenly give up the welfare and just go and get a full-time salary job with benefits. It's not going to happen. So here's a way that they can make that slow transition back into the world of work. And 2 other programs, I'll mention one of them, which would be a voucher program. What the voucher program is that the county can issue an additional type of currency in addition to food and cash, EBT, and that voucher can only be used to pay your bills, to pay the utility or the rent. and the landlord or the utility company can then take that voucher money collected, and they can then use that towards their taxes back to the county. So the person's bills are going to get paid, the money's not going to end up on the street, and the money stays in the county. I'm not an expert economist, but I think this can work. It's happened before, and I'd like to really look into this. So these are just some examples of some of the reforms I would like to implement. And it would, if we have a voucher program, we could cut back on the cash benefit and then supplement that with a voucher, plus maybe another 5 or 10%. So, this without costing the county anything. So this is some way that I can, promote this to my voters as a way to show that we're trying to help their communities get independent and get off welfare and get off of the cycle. So yeah, there's a whole, okay, one other thing I think I've got a minute or two left to mention. I mentioned something about a work program with sorting out the recycles. I think the county can expand the recycling program. I know the environmentalists will love this because we have, Indian Point Power Plant just closed down, and so now there's a question. Yeah, it just closed. It was just shut down.
It is.
It was.
Shutting down in
it's in the-
2021.
Thank you. Thank you. It's in the process of shutting down, so there's going to be a demand where we're going to get all that electricity. So here's an opportunity for home and small business, local-based solar and wind programs that can help meet some of that demand for electricity. And of course, it's environmental and green, and we can run in that environmental high horse. So, in any case, I've got a lot of work cut out in front of me. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm flying by the seat of my pants, and I'm in over my head. So, I'm deferring to you for support. I'm going to need committeemen. I'm going to need advice. I'm going to need help with social media, making websites, business cards, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, boots on the ground and distributing
Tell him that's me.
palm cards. And of course, I need to make a committee and then have a treasurer and all that and make official. So, if you can help, I'm deferring to you for your guidance. And I guess we're running out of time, so maybe later, if you want to ask me questions or just throw some tomatoes at me, I'll talk to you later. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Before our guest speaker comes up, Norma over here. Norma went somewhere interesting today. I'd like to talk to you about it real quick.
Hand it to you.
While we're doing that, let's pay the bills. Did everybody get the raffle tickets for the books? Would anybody like more raffle tickets for the books? They always taught me in business school, always ask for the order. You seen that movie Jack Lemmon? With Jack Lemmon?